Hello, welcome to the woods. It's beautiful wilderness, immersed in nature today. I'm Florida Trailblazer, exploring the history and wilderness of Florida. And today, we are hiking through these areas at Half Moon Wildlife Management Area. Vast wilderness here near the Withlacoochee River, located in Sumter County. Lots of areas to explore, many layers of history to discover and learn about as well. Just walking some of the trails just over here through the woods, going off the trail a little bit, off the beaten path. That's what we're doing today. And I was looking for this old railroad line that goes not too far from this area, goes through here. It was used back in the 1800s and early 1900s, and it's part of the logging history out here. So I was trying to access the railroad grade through this area. All part of the adventure. Let's continue. Beautiful out here, isn't it? Nice wide open spaces in this area, the wilderness, walking through this pine forest, lots of oak trees out in these areas, cypress swamps, mixture of everything. Nature here that we're exploring. A lot of old pasture lands throughout. Out there in the late 1800s and early 1900s, people had homesteads out here, farms, lived off the land. Some of the homestead sites in the area had the names of the roads that went by them, so named after the families that lived here. You'll see those throughout the preserve. It's really interesting. Exploring out here along this creek in the swamps is this very old cypress tree standing tall out here. Let's take a look at this. Really neat. Remnants from an old fence out here. Part of the ranching history in the area. That's a big alligator there. Surely there are others in this pond. I heard some other ones here along the banks, the water's edge, splashing around. That's why I'm trying to walk as quietly as possible. And they're just sitting here sunning themselves, conserving energy for their hunts. It's always a treat to see the wildlife, that's for sure. Let's continue on. Living fossils. Two species frequently seen here have not changed for millions of years. American alligators first appeared in what is now Florida at least 8 million years ago. And sandhill crane fossils from 2.5 million years ago look virtually identical to skeletal remains from the present. And some of the wildlife you see in this area. Out here roaming through the woods, came across this foundation, part of the cattle ramp here, used during times of the ranching activity in this area. Let's take a look at this. Right over here, these pastures once stood a homestead. You can see some of the timbers laying around the area, pieces of wood from the cabin. It was here during the early and mid 1900s. This was the site of the McKinney Flatwoods homestead, and there's a sign here describing some of the history of the area. These corner blocks mark the site of a homestead locally called the McKinney Flatwoods. The one-story L-shaped house with a cedar-shake roof was occupied by John W. McKinney and family from 1916 to 1945. They raised cattle and hogs, grew corn, peanuts, shuffa, velvet beans, and livestock feed. Factors such as World War II and screwworm infestation of the cattle led to the sale of the homestead. Right in this area is where the homestead would have been. Pieces of wood from the cabin.